Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's Porter. They did such a good job changing the brake pads on the other side without the caliper too. So I'm gonna see if I can do a good job on this side the same way. So on these particular calipers, you gotta kind of rotate them in. There's a special tool for that. I don't have that tool, but my son does. I was gonna go right out there and have him do it or use his tool, but I figure I'll do this the other side without the tool and see how it comes out. Uh, I got my jack, I got my other pad, got my wrench and stuff like that. So we'll see what happens.
Newton Ladder 1, Newton Engine 7, mutual aid to the town of Brookline. Newton Ladder
they got
1,
a
Engine 7.
tool on fire over in Brookline going on. I'm not too sure how serious that is, but they got something going on over there. All right, let's go see if we can crack these lugs and take that off and see what we can do. No, honestly, I haven't really did mechanic work in years. So it's good to see if you still got the touch, you know. I don't do a lot of work. Sometimes it all depends. And now I'm just gonna crack these lugs. Just kind of lift up on them. Give them a little. There we go. A little tough. That one's a little tough. There we go. See if you gotta put some lubricant on that. Doesn't have to be. It could be anything. Something just to keep it from seizing up, you know. Once these things are all loose, and you know they're loose, this one might need a little bit. Here we go. It's a little tight. Okay. Now, keep my jack in a comfortable position where I put something in that front tire just in case. The car is pretty level, but I put something under the tire just in case if it did start to roll. That way if it does roll, it won't go too far. It's always good to do that. Sometimes you can put your e-brake on too. Let's get in here and find that sweet spot for the jack. Okay. Once the tires start going up, let's get that sweet spot. Let's see where we're at. That's high enough right there. You don't need to go too high. Hang tight. We'll be right back. I just gotta go grab something. And we'll take our time, you know, because we're never in a rush. Well, we shouldn't be. Okay.
Anybody down Southampton getting a pedestrian struck 301 Southampton?
Okay. Let's take these lug nuts off. Just take your time. Nope. You know.
Map and address that coming in the pedestrian struck 301 Southampton. 113 14, where here with the lag? Should be a 58-year-old male with a walker.
Sorry, I'm looking at the other call. She fled. She was a shoplifter. She was getting street, black female, wearing black clothing, and she had a driver.
I'm not changing the rotors, but I'm just changing the pads. Maybe next time I do the rotors. I mean, as long as they're not, you know, pitted or grooved or something like that, you should be okay. If you find that they're gouged or grooved, you might have to find somebody to machine them down, or you can always change them out. It depends on how you feel. Nowadays, everybody just changes them out. They don't really. Some people still do machine them down. Years ago, you could take them over to Paul's Clutch, and they'd do it. You still can find some shops that will still do it. So this one here is kind of stiff. So I'm definitely gonna put some kind of protective, whether it's grease or whether it's Vaseline or bearing grease. But you see how that's got a little rust on it? You shouldn't really have rust on them either. Some people don't really change their tires and take them off until it's too late. Right. Now we're going to pull off this, I guess you call it the caliper itself. Caliper in the bracket. First we're going to find the right socket. See what socket size that is. I always guess. It's probably bigger than that. Yeah. There's that one there. I'm not too sure what size that is. This is a 14 millimeter. If that's looking at it the right way. Yeah, maybe it's a 14 millimeter. It says 14 on it, so probably 14 millimeter. Now, let's see how easy it is to turn this thing out. Get the right spot now. It's always awkward to work in this little spot here. Here you go. Little muscle to it. It's sometimes you could get a hammer and bang on it, it'll top it down too. But I mean, you should be able to. I guess I can do it that way. Don't even take it all the way out. Just take it off like that. Put the new pads in. Only problem is trying to turn the caliper in that position. Let's see if I could. If I could turn the caliper in that position, which I should. No, even though I don't have the proper tools, but let's see if this caliper would turn in that position. Let's stick this brake pad over here so it keeps it kind of open. Let's see if this thing turns. It does turn, okay. So maybe I'm making it easier than it should be. It is turning. Gotta get the seat all the way in. So since I did a good job on the other side, I figure I did on this side with the needle nose, same way. Now we're almost in there. We're almost seated all the way in. Right there should be good. I just gotta pump the brakes when I get in the car to push it back to its proper position. Let me give it, actually, you know what? One more turn and see where we're at, you know? So I got it turned in there, if you guys seen that. Now my next step is to take off these pads here. You gotta pull these off with your hand. Still got a little meat on there. That's the outer one. But the other side I changed was kind of hitting the guide. That's why I want to change that one. This is a guide up here. It was hitting that guide, and this one looked like it has more meat than the other one, which is weird. So how you get? It is, well, maybe they did the same thing I did. This one has a lot of different. Well, it has some meat. It's, you know, I'm gonna change it while I get it off. Though I'm not gonna put that back on there because I got the new side. We're supposed to change both at the same time, but I changed them like a week later, which, you know, it's not major. Let's get these in here. Let's get these in here. That's one. Let's get the other one in. I'm actually making this look easier than it's supposed to be, but these are all the old pads. Just keep those. You know, those are the old pads right there. Years ago, I used to be able to do these in 30 minutes, but that's we're talking about 20, 30 years ago. So now we're not in a rush. We're just taking our time. This one is going to be, because I'm working on it backwards, but once I get it in there, go from there, you know? Just take your time. Alright, so I got them both sitting in there. Now once this, I don't know if you guys can see what I'm seeing, but let me see. Kind of got it in there, like, so instead of taking the other one off, I just spun it out like this, which a lot of people will do. Some people will lift it up this way, some people would lift it down that way. That doesn't matter. I return this in so my caliper's in as far as it can go. It should clear the pads on both sides once I push it back. Then once I push that back, I can start tightening it up. So as long as this fits in there, let's make sure it fits in. It does fit in there. Now, all I gotta do is put this bolt back up in here, tie that back in there. Make sure this one's tight at the bottom first, because I don't want to have it loose. Let's see. That's good. Okay. Let's get this one tightened up.
Tango Echo 511, I'll be Charlie Robert in Normandy. In Southampton.
One more. snug for good measure. There we go. Don't want to over tighten it either. You don't need to put too much pressure on there. I'm gonna put some lubricant on these studs here, just to keep it. See how they got that rust on there? I'm gonna put a little lubricant on there just to keep it from doing what it's doing. Doesn't have to be a whole lot, just enough to kind of coat it. Just enough to kind of coat it. See that? Just enough to.
23, engine 3, mutual aid to the town of Brookline. Ladder 23, engine 3.
Just kind of make sure I get the threads all covered up.
Boss 8222, town of Brookline.
How's that look? Pretty good?
905, is that department, MBA? That's correct, 15 Jankowski.
Okay, looks pretty good. Can't forget to put a little on the tip there, even though that's not touching the threads, but it's all good. How about that?
Station 37.
That's pretty good. Alright, let's get the tire on and we'll put it back together. I got my my Duralast 2 set. I had it for several years. It still looks brand new. I've used it quite a few times. I just kept the tools clean. I always try to, like, if they do get dirty, wipe them off. Like, these are not that dirty, but if they do get too dirty, I'll wipe them off. Put them back where they came from. And it looks pretty good right there. Just back in there. And I put it back inside the tools are supposed to last you as long as they can. Sometimes if you misuse them or use them the wrong way, they can get damaged or stripped out or rounded out, whatever how you call it. My father always said get the right tool for the right job. So if you can't use a hammer to turn in a screw. So if it's a hammer, you should have a nail. And if it's a screw, you should have a screwdriver. That's the only way you should be able to do it. But I have seen people hammering screws, so that wouldn't be the first. Put this cover back on there. This is just a protective covering. They got a pretty good fire. I think it's a 2-alarm fire over there in Brookline. Let's see what's going on with that. Let's see what this tire had. I might have to go up a little bit because it looks like my jack might be losing hydraulic fluid, but we'll see. If it's still the same height, I don't have to jack it up, then I'm good. But if I have to jack it up a little bit, that means my jack needs to get one of those rings replaced. Let's see. Let's first try to put it on without even moving the jack. See if it stays the same spot. Now, if the tire is in the same spot, I won't have to do anything. So I can put it on. But if it sank down a little bit, I might have to, let's see. Yeah, I might have to jack it up a little bit. I think this jack did sink down a little bit. Just a little bit. Because every once in a while it loses its it also would help if I put this on straight rather than crooked. I'm kind of putting it on an angle when you're supposed to be putting it on straight. Alright, first thing, let's make sure we get all these started first.
Ladder 18, a motor vehicle accident with injury. 1510 Carsky Way, Dorchester. Ladder 18, a motor vehicle accident with injury. 1510 Carsky Way, Dorchester.
Always tighten it as tight as you can get it with hand first. I see guys try to rip them on with an air gun. They strip out the threads, either on the stud or on the actual lug nut itself. So I always want to get a couple of revolutions on there first, so that way you know you're not cross-threading anything. Then you can tighten it down. You don't want to just start tightening it down right off the rip. Get a couple of spins. And if you don't have a couple of spins, then that means something's wrong. Okay, so while it's still up in the air, let's get this as tight as we can get it. While it's up in the air still, let's snug this up as tight as we can get it. Then we'll lower it down and really tighten it up the right way. Okay. You pretty much got these all hand tightened right now. One thing I don't do, I don't step on it. A lot of people I see they step on this. Two things you can happen. You can actually be over tightening it, which you don't want to do, because you could either break your tool or snap your stud off. So theoretically, these are supposed to be torqued down to a specifications, but you should be able to judge how much torque you need to do when you're doing it by hand. Because I'm gonna kind of give you an example how I do it, and I never have a problem with them. Get the jack out of there. So I'm gonna start with this one right here. I'm gonna kind of crisscross to this one, to this one, to this one, to that one, and that's probably the pattern you're supposed to use. So I'm gonna take this one here. I'm just gonna keep cranking it until I get some resistance. I got a little resistance there. Now I'm gonna put a little bit of my upper body weight just to crank it down to about this level here. And that's tight. That's snugged. Now I'm gonna jump to this one, do the same thing. Now I'm kind of do the same as that thing, kind of bring this bar this way. That's a lot of. If I did one revolution, that'd be too much. But that's like almost a quarter turn, and and you see the whole car is moving when you're doing it, so you know see that same thing. This one needs a little bit more, right there. So you don't want to put your whole body weight on it, because now you're putting 200 plus pounds on this. I mean, that's quite a bit. You kind of can feel it. See, that's snugging. And that's pretty much it. I know my son would be proud of me, like, Dad, you did the other one without the tool. And I knew he had the tool because I know he does brakes all the time, and I always did brakes on my cars and trucks that I had, but ironically they all were just regular calipers that didn't require the tool to turn them in. And I knew about that tool years. A lot of those cars had them back then, the tool. And I never bought one because I never needed it. Even on this car, if I don't need it, I might not even buy it. Next time I do the front and see how that comes out. So if it turns in just as easy as that with a needle nose pliers, I might not need the tool at all. Get you guys on the next one.